Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday again, and today is actually very special. I'm right here at Jing in Hualien, and today, at this very moment, there are two major retreats going on. One is the U.S. 4-in-1 retreat, and they have about 600 plus people back, and I'm sure Master have talked about this. And that's what we have. And the other one is the about 700 from Taipei. It's their trip to Hualien to learn about the Tzu route, and so it's very glorious day. There's so many people here today, and I'm locked up in a very small room, making sure that that we get through this hour, and then I'm gonna have to run back to the abode to continue the day. But nonetheless, it's always good to begin our review, and I just want to send my regards to all of our family members in Northern California. The fire that has been raging on for weeks now, for a week now, and I know that our brother Greg and sister Sally. They actually were scheduled to return to Taiwan for the U.S. 4-in-1, but because their homes were actually very, very much close to the fire. And so far, and wonderfully, thanks to the forces that may be, but so far everything is good, and we hope that it can continue and the fire can be contained. But they are now staying in the U.S. to help with the efforts. So let's hope that everything is okay. Now, so let's now move on to our Lotus review. So today, October 14th, and as we all know, yesterday was October 13th. That's the year. That's the day where the movement of everybody does one good deed, kindness deed, the deeds of kindness began since the 2001 terrorist attack in the U.S. And it's always something nice that we should always remember what happened before and know our history. So, as customary, we always go back to what we talked about last week. So previously, last week, we talked about why and not exactly. Now, what exactly do we talk about? Well, the why was that we went back to the 2016, once again, going back to the history and understanding and rediscovering the reason why we began our Lotus review. And this was the 2016 August 14th review that we first held. This wasn't the first English session, but this was the first Jing Wondrous Lotus review, the very first one that we held last year, August 14th. And we went back to making sure that we understood why we started, and we asked ourselves, have we stayed true to our objective? Have we stayed true to what we wanted to do? And the answer is yes, but not exactly. Because while the intentions were all true, however, I believe it is also my hope that we have grown mature, we have grown more incongruous with the Dharma. We have grown closer and more attuned to the Dharma itself. That even though if we now go back to what we have began last year, more than I think it was probably 14 months ago, then we would find out that it's actually we will see things very differently. So yes, we stay true on course, but we also realize that there is definitely some personal growth in between. So this week we're going to talk about why again. We're going to talk about why again. And we're going to talk about the four wisdoms. And this will be the third or the fourth, depending on if you count one of the session that has some four wisdoms. But this will be the fourth time we talk about four wisdoms. And the reason being that it is something that Master once again talked about today, talked about yesterday, and talked about this past week. Namely, wanting us to not just know the words, not just know the concept, but know also how to apply, when to apply, how it works, and trying so hard to tell us what does it really mean. So let me go at it again to bring a different perspective this time. So every time I'm trying to bring a different perspective, it's for something that let's try to integrate this so that we can try to use it or understand it and understand what it means in a more innate, in a more closer to our heart way. That way, maybe on some level, we will be able to use it easier or more readily use it. So let's go back to the why again. Last week, we talked about the why. We went back to August 14th. And this time, we're going to talk about why again. But before we go into the why again, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, the Dharma talk, there was a segment where Master recounted what one of the staff from Dai TV shared with Master. And the staff shared, so she was wondering why all the people in Tzu Chi are so committed. She was wondering. And so she had done interviews with many people. She has asked many people. And the final conclusion, so there were like 4 different kinds of people. And the conclusion, if you put all the 4 together, the conclusion is because of our love to Master. That is why we're so committed to Tzu Chi. It does good things to the society. It makes you feel good. And it's something that we're supposed to do as a human being, or is responsibility and all that, right? And we have the time, the resource, then why not? But all of that boils down to because of our love to Master. And this goes back to why we do things in Tzu Chi because of our love to Master. Okay, so that's what the staff said. And so Master recounted some more. So someone asked in the old days, Master, why do we love you so much? Why do we love you so much? And Master said, in that story, in the past, Master said, because before you loved me, I already loved you. So this sounds like the script of a romantic movie, right? Like, oh, before you loved me, I already loved you, right? So why do I bring this up? Why do I bring this up in our first topic, which is talking about why? Let me go on. So this is the quote from our volunteer in Mexico. So this is a volunteer who had not met Tzu Chi, who had not known about Tzu Chi in her entire life until after the earthquake. And our volunteers, led by Brother Stephen Huang, went to Mexico and contacted her because of some very wondrous affinity and asked her for help, and we cooperated. And when she found out more about what Tzu Chi does, when she found out more about who Master is, she began to tear up. She cried. She didn't realize that there's somebody so kind and somebody so compassionate exists. And now that she knows, she's willing to devote her energy and effort. And this is what she said. She said, I prepared my whole life for this. She has spent her whole life up to this point going for something, preparing for something. And she found out. The moment that she found Tzu Chi, the moment that she realized what Tzu Chi is, and the moment that she realized what she wants to do, she knew that she had prepared her whole life for this. So I wanted to share with you that, love is important, right? We talked about love for Master. We talk about how that our love for Master and also Master loved us before we even know to love her. And that is why I think it is very crucial that the why is deep imprinted, and love is part of the factor. Master is also part of the factor. But I want to go a little bit deeper than that, because if you remember, when disciples always say, Master, we love you. What do the masters say? What does the master say back to us? She said, what did she say? She didn't say, don't love me. I'm not worthy of your love. She didn't say, thank you for loving me. I love you too. What did she say? She say, well, if you love me, love the ones that I love. Okay. So what does that mean? It means we have to turn to something that's greater. It means that there are things that's greater than just one person loving another. There is more to it than that. And it's very important that Master turns this. She doesn't reject your love. She doesn't accept your love only, but she wants you to think greater than just loving one person. If you can think of this as this is the most important part of why I brought up all those quotes. It's not about one person. It's not about the master only, but it's about how she is directing our effort and our love and our energy to say, if you love me, then show me by loving the ones that I love. And I think that is what turning greater is all about. And today, even though I've already shared with you what two topics that we're going to cover are, but today what we're really talking about is how do we turn greater? How do we turn something that we have that's inherently us, ourselves, me, self? How do we turn this greater? I love you, but hey, not just you, but everyone that you love too. Okay. So now let's bring back, why do we need master so much? Because, and this is, then let me show you with this example. So this is a picture of, on the right is our brother George Chang. He's the CEO of the New York branch in the US. And for those of you that might know of his story that happened recently, was that since the global 4-in-1 retreat that took place in June, he was back. So brother George Chang was back in Taiwan, and he was back with our volunteers from Ecuador, and he spent some time. Next to the master, and helping with the Ecuador relief project, and sharing and handling of the volunteers from Ecuador. Now, at the end of his trip, he was going to go home already. Yet, just out of nowhere, it's just somebody, I think, always these very interesting people that make some pass that says, do you know that he's having some heartaches, and I think he should get tested. And he on his own would be like, I have no time for this. I need to go back to US. I need to go back to Ecuador. There are a lot of meetings. So finally, this very gossip, this very small rumor traveled all the way to Master, and Master said to him, if you are going to be a good disciple, then you should go and take a test, and nothing goes on, then good, and you can go back to your test. You can go back to your meetings and caring for Ecuador. That's not a problem. So being a very good disciple, he obliged, and he made sure that he followed the teachings. So he did. Now, many more complications occurred after that. So apparently, it wasn't just as simple as a test. A test goes into became a procedure which was very simple, and this was done by the deputy superintendent of the Hualian Ziji Hospital, who is very, very, very much an expert in this area and have done tens of thousands of the same similar operations. But there are complications. So after that, there was a life and death battle. Okay, there was really a life and death battle. And for the last 10 days that Master was around Taiwan, the last 10 days of her trip, she was constantly worried about if he's going to pull through. And same thing, the lady that sits next to him right now in this photo, it was his wife. And it was his wife, his family, and all the Dharma families. Goodness, I mean, everyone was involved. This was a big deal that we all know this guy and we all love this guy. I mean, I know this guy, and it's really difficult for me to even think back to half a year ago. What happened? This was just 4 months ago. This was just 4 months ago. So all of that happened, and obviously now he's pulled through, and now he got grounded. He can't go back to the U.S. because the master won't let him. Master says you need to stay here and you recover. So he comes to the abode very often, regularly. And just 2 days ago, or last night, 2 days ago, in the U.S. 4-in-1 retreat, he went on stage and made a sharing about the entire process. And the process he shared was that while he was in the complication of the surgery, he had no idea that his body was going through all of that. His mind was already separated from his body. So he didn't realize that there was operation going on. His mind was on his own and thinking about, it was like he was dreaming, but he didn't know he was dreaming. So he recounted very clearly all the time that he was in a coma. Like, people would be shouting at him and he would not respond. And during that time, he shared 2 nights ago that story where his mind was. And he told us that he knew there was a complication with his body. So one day he woke up. He really thought he woke up, but it was only his dream. He woke up and he found himself to be in this island. And, it was a very long-winded, interesting story about the true people that he knows. It was so true that he didn't realize it was a dream. And everything he does in there, including, thinking that somebody was taking advantage of the patient. A doctor was taking advantage of the patients by not treating them right. So he felt the justice in him to make sure that people know about this, to expose this by talking to authorities. And not only that, but talking to the abode and talking to 宗教处, the religious department, and telling them, you must warn all of our brothers and sisters worldwide not to go to this doctor, not to go to this hospital, and all of that. So he relived it during the time that he was in the coma, that no one seemed to be able to, well, it wasn't like a coma, but it was like in and out of the state, conscious state. But during that time, he remembered the reality as that. And so he finally, 2 nights ago, when he shared, and that was the first time I heard it. Apparently he had shared this, many times already, but that was the first time I heard it. And he concluded it by saying, that tells you that what we put in our consciousness, or what we call the storehouse consciousness, the 8th consciousness, is what is going to guide you when you are not in control of your mind or of your body. And I think that really hit a very strong sense, a very strong idea, that this is what 8th consciousness means. When you think, when you are not in control of your body, your physical or your spiritual self, that 8th consciousness takes over. And whatever you put in there, it's going to direct you to do the things or lead you to something, one thing or the other. And in this case, what directed him was his interaction with Tzu Chi people. So all these people came out, right? So there's brothers and sisters name and brothers and sisters that appear in his dream, because that's the people that he talked to all the time. That's the things that he does all the time. It was all about Tzu Chi. It was all about with brothers and sisters. It was all about Dharma, about master. So that's what he thinks about. So even when he is in the unconscious state, that's all he would do. And that's when he said, in conclusion, he said, that's why it's so important to put in the 8th consciousness the things that we really want to put in there, which is what Tzu Chi does. Tzu Chi fills up our world with all these positive and kindness, love from master, our love from master, the brothers and sisters, the Dharma in family, the Dharma and everybody, the Sutra and all of that. We put all of that together in our eighth consciousness. So when we wake up one day, maybe we're not in control, but when the eighth consciousness takes over, that's where we would be, leading us to that path. Just like what Master said today, coming back to the path with the vehicle, using the vehicle of the true suchness. It will lead us back to among the people to do the right things and continue the project, continue the Bodhisattva path. And that will lead us into the second part, which is also part of the turning greater theme, which is the four wisdoms. Once again, because Master talked about this so many times that I would hope, I hope that I can bring a different perspective of what it means by turning consciousness into wisdom. So to review, these are the four wisdoms again. Now, I don't want to go much more deeper into the definition of each. Rather, it has to be with feelings. But before we understand the feelings, we still have to understand what each of these are trying to say. So the wisdom of accomplishment, as Master talked about today, it's about the five senses. It's about the wisdom of how do we turn our five senses into positive use. So our five senses or five consciousness are our eyes, our eyesight, our sense of smell, taste, touch, hearing, the five of them. And when we see the things we like, when we hear the things we like, when we smell the things we like, when we touch the things we like, or when we taste the things we like, we become greedy. We become wanting. We become, our desire flares up. Oh, I want this. I'm going to get it. But Master says the wisdom of accomplishment is about turning the senses into wisdom. How can we actually make what we can sense into something positive? So see the food. Know that this is part of an animal life. See the people that are hurt and suffering. Know that what we can do to help them. So that's the wisdom of accomplishment. The wisdom of profound insight is the ability of the sixth consciousness, which in Buddhism talks about the way to differentiate. In scientific terms, it is a way for our mind to say, now I see this, and that is white. This is a shirt. That is a tie. So this is all about differentiation, definition. I see the shape, I see the color, I touch it, I know what it is, and I know I differentiate it distinctly, give it a name, and it's called a shirt. This is a pair of glasses, because this is, as we know, the frame, the glasses, the reflective lenses, whatever, and all of that, the corrective lenses, that is what we call glasses. So that's what we call a very simple observation and match with memory, and we know what it is. Wisdom of profound insight says, well, if we can look deeper than that, see the difference in everyone, to understand their background, why they come about to this conclusion, why they choose to go one way or the other, right? The differences between the people, and understand that and turn that into a wisdom. Because you like this, therefore I will direct you in that direction. I will help you in that way so that you can open your arms and accept my teachings. That's what profound insight is talking about. The wisdom of innate identity is that even though that there are all these differences, in reality, we are all the same. So out of all the differences, we come back to see the similarities and oneness that we all have, which is the Buddha nature that we all have. And when we put all three together, combine all of that into practice, that's when we have the wisdom of the great perfect mirror. Now, that's in a very nutshell what the four wisdoms are. But let's talk about how we can use it. So the wisdom of accomplishment we talked about, it was the five senses, the see, the sight, the sound, smell, the taste, the touch, that five, right? So how does it help us, right? Suppose we are in a debate, in an argument with a group of people. I have a group of people that all believe in my cause, and a different group of people do not believe in our cause, in fact, opposed to it. what do? The normal way that we think about is, let me find the debate and let me find the argument that you cannot refuse. Or even better, let me find more people that believe my way, and in our vote, we will outvote you. And I'm sorry, you just have to listen to the majority. And that's how this world works today. And I think all these wisdoms are here to tell us the world is going polarizing. There are more about you and me, them and us. It's about on that side and on this side. It's very polar opposite in this world right now. You are either with us or you are against us. It's very, very polarized right now. And the reason is because I fail to convince you. Therefore, I don't even want to take time to talk to you further. Let me just get more people on my side, make my side stronger, and I'll force you to take my side, or I'll force you to yield to my side. That's how today's world works, because it's no longer talking about communication. There's a communication breakdown. We always talk to the people that we like, and you slowly form into a group, and this group grows bigger and bigger, and you grow more in power. And eventually, this group will be in conflict with another group because the difference in ideology, because people don't believe the same thing. Then you have the conflict of the groups, and you found out it's impossible to be able to resolve the conflict by communication. That's where the 4 wisdoms come in. The first wisdom of accomplishment, the first wisdom of accomplishment is to understand what was done. What is the thing that we're talking about? How it was done. What was done. And understanding the very technical aspect of it. What are we talking about here? Is it about building a school? Is this about passing a particular legislation? Is this about a particular ideology? What are we talking about? Know all the ins and outs of this fact. Know all the fact about this. This is a very simple thing, straightforward. This is nothing personal. It's just to know about the fact about anything that happens. This is on the surface. This is the first step. The second part, profound insight, is to talk about, do you understand the cause and the conditions? Yes, we all want to help people. We all want to provide food to the people that are suffering. But what was the cause? The cause was, so it was a flooding. The flooding took out all the power. It took out all the food and crops. Therefore, these people have no food and they have no power. So in knowing the cause and the condition, we will give them food because that's what they need, but we will not give them the rice that needs the rice cooker to cook or needs the fire to cook, because it's not possible that in the place that was flooded, you cannot find any burning woods because all the woods were wet. You cannot find power because the power outage is happening. Therefore, knowing the causes, knowing the conditions, you will know the right thing to do. Know the entire thing on the surface about all the technical aspect of the disaster. For example, if we're using disaster as an example, know what happened, know when it happened, know who did it happen to, know how it happened, know the exact, all these things about what it happened. That was the first wisdom. The second wisdom is know the cause and the condition. Knowing that this had happened, what is going to cause? What is going to be the future condition, so that it will help us determine what we need to do. If this were a project, for example, a construction or building project or a school project or an education project or anything of the such, then this is understanding the cause and the conditions, the cause and the conditions of how things come to be. Why do we need to build this institution? Why do we need another school here? What is the population that need this? What is the current need? What is our manpower? Can we have enough funding? Can we have enough people, etc.? This is understanding, once again, very objectively, do an analysis of the cause and the conditions. Third part, wisdom of innate identity. Now, for everything, there are multiple sides to the same thing. There are people that agree, and there are people that don't agree, and there are people that don't care. So you have to agree, don't agree, and don't care. Some care more, some care less. Some want to care more and are agreeing. Some care more and they don't agree. Some don't care much, but they agree. Some care very little, but they don't agree. So you have a lot of shades of black and white. Between black and white, there are many, many, many shades. So what are we going to do? Understand each other. Innately, everyone, whether you agree or not, there's a common goal that exists in everyone, which is we all want what's good for the children. We all want what's good for the beneficiaries. We all want what's good for society. How do we do it is how we differ. But knowing the cause and the conditions will allow us to analyze it more clearly. But the most important part is this, the wisdom of innate identity. Because what this does is that it will put you in other people's shoes. From their perspective, how are we able to see it? And when we're able to put ourselves in all these different people's perspective, know their causes, know their conditions, know why they choose, the reason why they chose. Hey, if I am not a Tzu Chi volunteer, I would never understand that why would anyone just do something because of their love for Master? I would not understand. How would you put yourself in their shoes? By understanding what it means to be them, what it means to be so committed. So in part, innate identity, put yourself, empathize with other people, why they think this way. It's not so opposing. It's not just you and them. It's you trying to be them, seeing from their perspective, understand their cause and conditions, understand the in and out of what they think is true, and then understand why they want to do this. And hopefully you can find a middle ground where we can all agree on. And that's the wisdom of the great perfect mirror. If we can continuously practice 1 through 3 on everything, see everything, understand all the technical part, the knowledge part of it, right? Understand it. The know that it's good, so we do it. Just do it, right? Just do it. Second part is the profound insight. Not just do it, but we also understand the cause and the conditions. The third part, not just do we understand the cause and the condition, but we also understand various perspectives, their causes and their conditions, and how they want to achieve it. If we can practice this all the time, 1 through 3, everything that we see it very technically, and we see through its cause, the 因缘果报, and then we see through other people's feelings and other people's perspective. If we can keep on practicing it, then we will see other people always in their best light. This is the picture that I got off the web that I thought is very, very telling. It's an old person looking into the mirror and sees the best of how their past was. And this is what we need to do for everyone. Not to see the younger self, but to see the goodness and kindness in others. Because we are able to go through the first 3 wisdoms, then we will act as that mirror. We will be that mirror to reflect the good things about people. Because we understand how things are done. We understand the cause and conditions. And we understand from their perspective. So we begin to think for others. We begin to try to merge the difference of ideas and try to find the similarities. It's no longer just, why don't they understand? Why is it that we have a group of more than the majority, but these people determine whether we should do something or not? It's no longer just about that, but we are able to be that mirror that reflected, not the outer shape person, the self, but rather the glorious, the good parts about people. And that's what that mirror should be. And that's the great, perfect, round mirror, the wisdom. Okay? So it's all about turning greater. It's about turning what was just about our feelings into everybody's feeling. It's about turning what we think into what does everybody think. It's about understanding my cause and conditions, turning into everybody's cause and condition. Then perhaps not is it we're going to turn greater, but we're also going to be able to find such the great, wonderful mirror, the wisdom of great, perfect mirror. So as the time is coming up, so I will skip this cherished Dharma part, and we will go into today's various center doing their sharing. But last word before I go, before we go into the sharing, is that this is truly what I believe, that Master is really leading us on this path to true greatness. And this greatness isn't great accomplishment. This greatness is the greatness of the self. And this is not the greatness of the self, grandiose, making yourself much bigger. No, it's that in our views, our eyes will see further. Our hearts will feel more than just ourselves, but other people. And I want to share with you, I think this was 3 days ago. This was, I think this was a Wednesday. In the volunteer assembly on Wednesday morning, Master was recounting that Brother Stephen Huang, on the previous night, which is Tuesday night, he had given his sharing about his work in 2 trips he made to Afghanistan. And this was nearly 20 years ago. The first time he had gone to Afghanistan, it was 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, 19. And then the second time they also went, that was after the 9/11 terrorist attack in New York. But Master was talking about this, and as the pictures were showing, Master said, would you believe, even though none of us was with Brother Stephen Huang when he went to Afghanistan, when he ventured into Afghanistan, when he went to with such danger, and he's still gone there. None of us were there, but do we believe him? Do we believe him? And nobody really answered because people didn't think that Master was asking. So Master says, I believe him. In fact, I fully believe him 200%. Okay. Then she said, if an ordinary person share with us the stories of his encounters and his adventures, and we believe him, then we should believe an enlightened person, enlightened being like the Buddha, when he told us of his life adventures and life growth, and we should believe it also. We should believe it even more. And that was just mind-blowing to me, that it was amazing how at that moment he transformed that belief, that we're seeing the pictures, the videos, and all of that, and make us believe. And the person is right in front of us, telling us the story of Afghanistan. And the Master is challenging us, do you believe him? And if you believe him, then there is no reason why we don't believe in the Buddha. In fact, we should believe the Buddha even more so, because the Buddha is an enlightened person, is an enlightened being. And Stephen Huang, Brother Stephen Huang, is just an ordinary being. And that, therefore, found my trust and faith in Master, in Buddha. So once again, Buddha's heart is our heart, Master's mission is our mission. And if we love our Master, it's very important that we love the people, and we love the ones that Master loved. And keep this very dear to you. Keep your belief very close to you, because one day when we wake up and when we may not be in control, then what's going to lead us? It's that belief, it's that eighth consciousness, it's that subconsciousness. If we work hard to turn greater, then when we need it, it will guide us to where we need to go. And that's the importance of turning greater and making Dharma part of us, and use it, make it into your habits, work it into your subconsciousness, so then we will always be that mirror that without us knowing, it will already reflect the best part of the people that come in front of us. And that would be the great perfect round mirror. So thank you for listening to my sharing today. And we're going to open up to our centers. I think it's going to be Indonesia, or I think it's going to be 2 centers.
Hi, brothers and sisters. I'm Roger here. So from Jing Cafe in Singapore. First of all, I'd like to thank Sister Charong for inviting me to have this chance to share with you a bit of myself. It was quite tough for me to think of what are the things I could share with you. But then after some thorough thinking, I thought I still have a bit of stuff that I could share with everyone. So I started joining Tzu Chi when I was in university. That time I had this thought. I thought it would be good if I could be a vegetarian. But I did not know so much about, I still do not know about environmental protection that time. I just thought it's compassion to be vegetarian. But my parents were against it then. But then, however, I think things really changed when I get to join Tzu Chi, when I really got to know about doing environmental protection, about going green, about being vegetarian. So the time comes in 2010 when I told my parents I'm very determined. I want to be a vegetarian from now on. And amazingly, they actually agreed to it. And so it's been 7 years since then. Still a vegetarian, and of course I'm going to continue to be one, and also to encourage the people around me to be like this too, because you know the importance of it, how it helps to stop global warming, how it helps to be showing compassion and love for our fellow animals and other sentient beings. And from that I thought I could link to the environmental protection part. So I'm from Singapore, a very blessed nation. Over here, you may be aware that there's a lot of food wastage in Singapore. In fact, I did a check earlier. I think there's like the latest figure shows that we have 790,000 tons of food being wasted in 2015. So I thought one of the things I could do is not to waste food, seafood, to cherish the blessings that we have. So then some people told me that, so I would always want to finish up the food around me, make sure that there's no food wastage. So people will actually be telling me, oh, you're like a garbage bin. But then I thought to myself, no, I'm not a garbage bin. I'm a recycle bin. I do not waste food. In fact, I remember there's this sharing by Master once during this Dhamma talk, which I remember very dearly, close to my heart. So Master actually said that, well, whatever we have during lunch, if we could not finish it, we could actually keep it and warm it up and have it for dinner. That's so close to what I've always been thinking. So I thought, yeah, and in fact, I put it into practice, and maybe I took it a bit further. Sometimes I will keep it to the next day and continue so that not to waste food. All right, talking about this, another thing that I thought a bit of probably more positive sharings that I could have with everyone is on the part of saving water and electricity. So this part, I really enjoy it because back at home, so my Shijie, my wife and I, we have our own home. So this is a very good time, a quality time that we get to spend together. We will ensure that, because my Shijie is around here today, I may not want to go into details. Okay. So we actually tried to, all this clothes, full load of clothes before we put it into the washing machine for washing. And so after washing, we get to use all those water that the washing machine pumps out to do cleaning. And it's actually quite useful in the sense that we do not need to use like so-called fresh water to clean the house. And I always enjoy that moment that I get to spend with my Shijie together, get to clean out our house, and it always reminds me of this book, The Return to Our Pure Innate Nature. So it's like, wow, I always tell my Shijie after the clean up, we see our house is so clean. It's like we have also to remind, it's also a reminder to ourselves that we have to clean our heart, to cleanse our heart so that we do not let dirt, let the not so clean stuff accumulate it. I think that's actually something that we could actually apply to. Okay, actually, after saying about this, 2 days ago, I have this company retreat. So we got to get together with all my fellow colleagues in office. So that was like there was this trainer coming in to go through with us. We have fun together. But at the end of the part, that's something that really captured my attention. It was like the presenter was saying that, oh, okay, we actually took a group photo earlier together. So he was saying, all right, we may not have the chance to show thanks or express our gratitude to the people around us. So towards the end of it, we'd actually get to, every one of us get to hold one of these group photo. We get together, so we got to keep it. So then we'll be going around the rooms to show our gratitude, to express thanks, and that could be things that we may be too busy at work that we forgot to show our appreciation to others. So that moment was something, because normally in my office, I feel that people are generally very much to themselves, very quiet. But that time I could see that everyone going around thanking each other. You see that I thought the feeling was really great. And I thought we should be generous in showing our appreciation to the people around us so that the world can have more love and care. So I also like to take this opportunity to thank my Shijie. She's been my guiding light. I'm not very diligent, but she keeps me going, and she will always encourage me to join activity. And I also like to take this chance to thank Sister Xing. She's also an inspiration for me. She's very brave in trying new things. When I ask her to help, she will usually just agree to it. And she's very open to share with me her thoughts and her learning. So we could actually exchange our ideas. I was so grateful for that. Thank you, Sister Xing. So with that, I'd like to ask everyone, please be generous, not to be afraid, to show our love, to show our thanks for the people around us.
Good morning, sisters and brothers. My name is Pei Ai, also from Singapore. So when Sister Chao Rong invited me to do a short sharing in this session, so I was thinking what to share. Then I was thinking, since it's a Xin Fa Xiang sharing, so I would like to share my thoughts and experience to recall back what it's like when I first started to have Xin Fa Xiang, to listen to this Wondrous Lotus Sutra taught by our dear masters. So initially, when I first Xin Fa Xiang, it was already like in chapter 2 and 3. So then Master is talking about the actual aim of Buddhism or learning Dharma is actually to attain Buddhahood. So everyone has a chance to attain that. So initially when I heard about this, I was also like a bit uncertain. What, me becoming a Buddha? Is that possible? It seems so far away and unachievable aim. But then slowly, then when we continue listening to Dharma, to this sutra, Lotus Sutra, and then Sifu then try to explain why is it that everyone can attain. It's because everyone has this pure nature or 自性佛 in every one of us. So it's not impossible. But then after, when it comes to like chapter 6, 受记品, then Buddha start to give assurance to the disciples that they are actually they can actually become Buddha in after numerous kalpas, and after offering alms to like millions of Buddhas. So then it was again a mind-blowing facts to me. What? It's not so easy to become a Buddha. You have to like meet millions of Buddha, then only we can achieve that. But it's so difficult to even meet Buddha in our current lifetime, in one lifetime. how is it possible that we are able to meet like millions of Buddhas and then to only then to attain Buddhahood? But then our dear master gave a solution to us. Master always remind us that every one of us is future Buddha. 我们都是未来佛，每个人都是未来佛。So then, as long as we treat everyone around us as Buddha, then it's actually like you are meeting Buddhas every day, every now and then. Buddhas are all around us. Then I was, wow, what a relief. Maybe the road is not that long. Maybe we can really do that, hopefully very soon. And then it's really amazing how Master make this very profound sutra into something that we can understand easily. For example, when talking about 神通 or like 天耳通 or like 天眼通, to us it's like something very mythical, something very is about something supernatural. But then when Buddha, when Master explain it as in like what we are doing now, like what we are doing now, actually we're doing a conferencing. So even though I'm in Singapore, everyone who is online now can actually hear me, can actually see me. So everyone is actually 天眼通, 天耳通. So it becomes, it's making like something very unexplainable that we sometimes if we read the Dharma or the Sutra ourselves, we might not understand how is it possible, how can we explain it to people who don't really study Buddhism. How can we explain this to them? To them it would be like something very mythical, something unrealistic. But the way our master explained the sutra to us, it makes everything so real. It's just practical. Yeah, so that's why I'm very I'm very I felt ourselves very fortunate to have such a great master to share this great sutra to us. And then last but not least, I would like to encourage brothers and sisters who has not been following the Xun Fa Xiang every morning. At least probably we can take this Saturday, since it's most of us are not working on this Saturday, to join in this English sharing, whereby Brother Joe really put a lot of effort into making it to summarize what Master has shared over the week into a very summarized and very understandable PPT, PowerPoint, and explain to us how we can actually use, for example, today's Four Wisdom is, to me, if I don't come to Xun Fa Xiang every day, I would not be able to really understand how we can actually use it, or how we can actually turn this Four Wisdom into our practical life. But after hearing Brother Joe's sharing today, then, well, from a Dharma, it turns into something that we can actually practice in our daily lives. So that's all for my sharing, and thank you, everyone.
Thanks for all the sharings, and especially, what I really enjoy was the clapping in the background. It's so much, we are a very social animal. We as human beings, that we rely on the community of people that think alike. And when you put all these very, very much people that are very kind to each other, just like a big family, then you have this trust that is within all of us, that we can support each other. And I see from the smiles and the sharings, I really feel that the energy there and in all the centers is really, really positive. And I want to go back to what I first said about why. Do we want to do this because of our love to Master? And I think for someone who is who first came into Tzu Chi, it wasn't master that drew me to Tzu Chi. It was the ideology. It was the fact that I can come here to do something to help people. And we have a group of people to do that. By myself, I can't do a lot. But with many people, I think we can do something great. And that was it. And I told people, don't tell me what this nun says, because I don't need to know. I don't need to know what this nun teaches me, because I am not interested. I have my knowledge and I have my skills. And all I want to do is help people. And so let me have a chance to help people. But little did I know was that when I come into this community, I found more than just the ability to help people. I found the role models that I want to learn. I found the people that I want to be with, my family. I found that these people genuinely care about me, and therefore I care about them. And I would do anything for this Dharma family, and they would do anything for me as well. And furthermore, I found that the true reason why I do this is because I know that Master actually cares more about us, about our own well-being, about our growth, about how we can become better than she cares about herself. And when you know that she would do anything for you, that's the moment that I realize that that's when I know that that's the driving force. And I need to do this, and I will hopefully one day do the same, in hoping to inspire more people so then they can really try to become better. And I would focus more on how I can help other people than focus about my own well-being. Because in the community that I saw so many people in Singapore, the Jing Cafe, I really felt that was exactly the camaraderie that we really have. So it's wonderful that you have fostered all these wonderful relationships and also this very positive thinking for both sharings. And I would also encourage and welcome anyone. And in fact, I was talking to Sister Xiaoqing that I think in the future, just hearing both of you sharing today, I think in the future, and in the very near future, we could open the floor up to not just me talking, but let's have more people talking and more people sharing about what they felt, what the important parts of the past week Dharma talk. And, it could be very repeated because, hey, it's the main point and we should be repeatedly hear the main points, but from different people's perspective. And I think we can really learn something more. So once again, thank you for the sharings. It's very wonderful insight. And once again, I think we all benefit. And this is not just the supernatural powers. This is what I call 他心通. No, it's not. This is actually what I call in the world where we are as one. So this is what Master talked about today. 大生命体. When truly, when you have seen all the different life forms, when you have see all the different animals and all of that, with the wisdom of profound insight, then you move on to wisdom of innate identity. When you truly see equality, then life becomes as one. And that is why Master says we need to walk slowly and lightly and gently so we don't hurt the earth. Because if we see everything as equal, then we see earth is our body as well. Would you trample on your own body? Would you trample on your own self? You won't. You will be careful not to hurt you. You will be careful when you're, shaving or pulling the hair out or pulling the Band-Aid out because it hurts. Same thing. Doing this to others or doing any action to our external world, if we truly feel that it's equal, one life, then you would care for all of that just as you would care for yourself. And I think that's what the community will help us achieve, turning this into something greater. So thank you for both of your sharings. And I'm not sure if we have another sharing. Sister Xiaoqing, do we have?
We have two more sharing from our Indonesian Brother Sujing and Brother Rimba. Because it is 2 days entrepreneur camp today, so we're very blessed to have these two brothers, and they agreed to share despite very last minute notice. So, okay, we pass to Brother Sucheng first. Kan?
I cannot speak in English, sorry.
Never you try.
Saya cakap dalam bahasa Indonesia. Saya dari Indonesia, hari ini Simpasiang di Kuala Lumpur. Kita hari ini di Kuala Lumpur. Oke, kita hari ini mengikuti Simpasiang di Kuala Lumpur. Saya teringat tahun 2013, waktu itu saya bawa pasien ke rumah sakit Huang. Bertemu master, waktu itu kita di Medan, Indonesia, belum Simpasiang. Saya di sana 9 hari. Pada hari keempat, saya diminta Jingse Sepuh nginap di Jingse. 2 hari kita bangun jam 3 pagi, tidak tahan, kemudian kita keluar lagi tanpa permisi. Waktu itu, waktu mau pulang hari ke-10, jumpa dengan master di Cukung Cauhui. Master tanya kita, kalian kemari ke Hualien berapa hari? Saya jawab 9 hari. Waktu itu master jawab apa? Master bilang, saya lihat kamu cuma 2 hari. Sejak itu kita pulang ke Medan, kita tidak berapa lama, kemudian saya setiap hari mengikuti Simpasiang. Bahkan di Kuala Lumpur pun saya hari ini harus Simpasiang. Kalau tidak nanti ketemu master lagi, katanya kita gak datang ke Kuala Lumpur. Saya tidak bisa bahasa Mandarin, tidak bisa bahasa Inggris, tetapi dengan setiap hari Simpasiang, sekarang saya sudah mulai bisa. Seperti beberapa hari ini master mengatakan sing socok ti miao kuan chat ti ping ting xing ti Taiwan king ti, saya udah bisa. Saya akan pulang Hualien lapor sama master, saya udah bisa. Hari ini saya ingin sharing sedikit mengenai vegetarian. Tadi Brother Joe ada bilang love is important, master is important. Saya berpikir love master is very important, more important. Saya teringat saya juga mencintai anak saya punya 3 orang anak perempuan. Sewaktu tahun 2013 pulang itu master memberikan voucher ini kepada saya. Waktu itu saya sudah vegetarian 1 tahun. Anak perempuan saya yang paling kecil berusia 5 tahun. Ketika saya pulang dia minta memakai ini 1 hari. Saya berikan dia pakai 1 hari. Besoknya dia bilang, Papa saya mulai hari ini vegetarian karena saya sudah pakai pemberian master. Kemudian anak saya yang lain juga mengikuti anak saya yang kecil. Bahkan saya sendiri waktu itu tidak sadar mereka udah vegetarian. Saya pernah berbuat salah, saya bawa pulang makanan berupa kepiting dan udang. Waktu itu anak saya bilang, wah, Papa sangat kejam. Papa sangat kejam. Papa tidak ingat kita sudah vegetarian. Saya agak makan memang, tapi karena sayangnya anak itu sudah salah, saya ingin mereka makan enak. Mereka bilang, Papa sangat kejam, itu semua harus dibuang. Jadi sebenarnya kadang-kadang cinta kita itu harus tepat. Anak kita sudah vegetarian, kita bahkan lupa. Itu harus santu ya. Hanya itu ya. Saya sekarang di Indonesia, saya mudah-mudahan setiap pagi bisa mengikuti Simpasiang dan mentranslate untuk sesiung-sesiung yang tidak paham bahasa Taigi dan bahasa Mandarin. Bahkan sekarang saya ada berkunjung ke daerah lain di Indonesia yang belum ada Simpasiang. Saya mengajak mereka untuk Simpasiang. Dulu saya mungkin berikrar untuk Simpasiang bagi diri sendiri. Sekarang saya bangkitkan ikrar baru untuk mengajak orang lain di Indonesia yang tempat belum ada Simpasiang untuk Simpasiang. Karena
今天我要跟大家分享的师兄师姐，大家好，大家好我觉得我们好像一棵树啊，我们需要营养，营养呢就是要吸收那个营养，树要有营养才会成长。那么我们是要肥料才会 长大才会成果。那么人，我们也是需要有营养，我们营养从哪里来呢？我们要走对方向，我们需要法。那个法就是法，好的法就是好的肥料。那么我们用到那个，现在要去说这个法，我们有这个名，我们有 master 跟我们讲法，这说现代的大法师，我们要珍惜吸收，我们尽量吸收这个法水来增长我们的慧命，这是很重要的。现在地球需要很多树，那么这个树呢，就比如我们人类要有智慧，要有这个行，走向正的方向，不要走偏差。所以这是《妙法莲华经》里面的那个很多品啊，如果没有经过大法师跟我们解说，我们是不会了解的里面的，因为我们需要这个法水，就是很感恩有Master 跟我们讲解法，那法师品里面有很多很好的了，我已经悟到这些慧命成长，好像我昨天来到吉隆坡，来到这净思堂才发现，哇，是啊，什么这个从地涌出菩萨，真的看到哇，好神奇，不能解说的这些菩萨从哪里来？还有那个安乐品，就叫我们要行个正确的，不要走错方向。那受量品呢？我又发觉受量品就是增长我的慧命。我们做善的，不要行恶的，我们就会安乐，就是这个讲说啊，就是比如说我们睡觉没有睡也是很安然的啦，很安然的。就是我一天睡2小时、3个小时，我也不会觉得疲倦，因为我自己也不明白为什么我不会疲倦，就是很神奇啦。其实东西太多，很难去分享，就是我们自己要去观察觉，什么叫做觉？就是我们周围就是给我们会解到的东西了，比如一棵树，我现在上人好像在世界在种树，我们就是它的树啊，我们需要它的营养啊，没有营养，我们怎么长大，怎么成果？现在我们要成果子给人家吃，我们要吸收营养啊，对吗？好啊，我感恩有跟大家分享。
We're very blessed to have so many great sharings from all our international families. Okay, time's running out, but yet we did not realize time flies so fast. Okay, Karen, everyone.
Okay, great. So yeah, time is running out and I'll be very quick. So thanks to the brothers from Indonesia for the wonderful sharing. And it really gave me the feeling because I don't understand what was saying. So I had to read the caption, and on the recipient end of translated text caption really puts a very, very different perspective. And I have profound gratitude to our brother Eric for translating all of that, and it really brought me to much closer and understanding the person that was talking, and was able to see from the smiles and the laughters and the sincerity, I understand And the words actually and the expressions merged together, even though there was a bit delay. But I was very, very much thankful for the translation. And once again, for Brother Su Jen, it was thank you for being the one to start in Medan and also begin to do the live caption for people that don't understand. And just like what Brother Rimab was talking about, that we're all trees, right? But no one is giving the care to the trees that don't have the opportunity to get this. So thanks to all of the people that are online and that are hearing this, and you are the best, the disciples that are best carried out by showing ourselves as true followers and also embody ourselves in the teachings. Not only is it going to help us, our own tree grow, but we're able to preserve the water and save the water for the other plants and for the planet. One tree will not be able to stop the hurricane, the wind, the flood, the erosion. But when you have a forest upon forest upon forest of trees, then we would be able to make a difference. And that's what we're trying to do. By oneself is not possible. Always think greater, always turn greater. And we do this not just out of the love of Master, not just out of the love that we have, but we do this because this is the path that we have to do. That's what Master had always said. So thank you all so much. And this is a very wonderful and enlightening day. Once again, thanks to all of our international family members. And I love you all. And we will see each other next week. Thank you.